Thank you very much, Stephen. Well, the latest this afternoon is that the U.S. economy has contracted by 0.9% year-on-year in the second quarter after another massive interest rate hike announced yesterday. Gross domestic product fell by a 0.9% annualized rate after a 1.6% decline in the first 3 months of the year. That's according to the preliminary results from the U.S. Commerce Department. Personal consumption, the biggest part of the economy, rose by a mere 1%, which is a deceleration from the prior period. I'm joined now by Wayne McCurrie, an investment analyst at FNB. Wayne, thank you very much for your time. How are the markets reacting to this U.S. interest rate hike and the second quarter GDP figures? Because it seems to be entrenching the fears that are there when it comes to a global recession.
You're quite right. I mean, technically they are in recession now. They've had 2 negative quarters, although that doesn't really matter too much. The point is, the economy has changed massively since the interest rates started going up on the back of high inflation, and the economy will continue to be slow for the rest of the year, if not in a recession, simply because of the higher interest rates. I mean, the interest rate increase we saw this week, there's still a couple more to come like that. And everyone's worried. Consumers are worried. The markets are worried because, I mean, the U.S. in particular hasn't seen inflation this high since the early 1980s. So I think that a contraction in the third quarter, maybe not as big as 1%, is quite possible.
Tough times ahead indeed. Let's move on to company news now. Impact released a trading statement saying revenue for the period is expected to increase by approximately 5% when compared to the prior period. When they're excluding the sale of a Bay White, revenue is expected to have increased by 13%. Tell us more about what was contained in the statement this afternoon.
Well, look, I mean, very similar to other trading statements today and other trading statements we've seen this week. The South African consumer is doing extremely well. I mean, the turnover growth, if you exclude the business that they're selling, has been fantastic at Impact, but it's consistent virtually across all of the retailers. And of course, Impact serves the retailers directly because they make the packaging, and their container board was, quite frankly, fantastic results out of it. So once again, despite everything that we hear in South Africa and that we feel in South Africa, these companies are showing good results.
And another company, Pepkor, Steinhoff's Pepkor, also released a voluntary trading statement saying their revenue for the 9 months to end at 30 June will increase by 3.9% to 62.5 billion rands. What are the factors they are pointing to that have positively contributed to this performance?
I mean, it's exactly the same as what we've been talking. I must say, I read their trading update. I have never in my life seen such a long one. It will take you a whole day to read it and understand it properly. But once again, the consumer's actually doing quite well, although those results were a little bit more subdued when you compare it to other retailers in the same sector. So maybe not quite as good as other retailers, but still nevertheless quite a good trading update.
And here's another trading update by the Foschini Group. They released their own trading update for the first quarter, saying despite load shedding leading to a loss of trading hours, they expect a rise in revenue as well.
And they expect a very big rise in revenue. So they probably the best trading update and the best company results that came out today is from the Foschini Group. I mean, their local operations are doing extremely well. It's only really cosmetics that's not, and cell phones, but the other major parts of their businesses, the clothing business, etc., is doing extremely well. And then the Africa business is doing well. The UK business is doing well. As I said, this is the best trading update that's come out today so far, and the market's rewarded the shares. I think they're up about 4 or 5% on the day.
Wayne, that's all the time we have this afternoon. Thank you very much for your time. Wayne McCurrie is an investment analyst with FNB.